What's up, everybody? Dog 1985. There's levels to this. All right, guys, check this out, man. So, the Xbox Series S outselling the Xbox Series X in a few different markets. What does that mean for you and me? I've came on this channel plenty of time criticizing people that talk about sales for these companies, sales for these games, and all this other stuff, especially if you don't have stock in these companies. And I still stick to that. Here's a small difference, though. This generation, Microsoft slash Xbox are doing something completely different. They're not necessarily worried about sales. They're worried more about subscribers and adopters, is what I'm going to call it, into their ecosystem. And that's clear. They're worried about it so much that even if you have an Xbox One, right now you're really not missing out on anything. Microsoft really is telling you there's no need. There's no need to upgrade. You upgrade because you want to, and you want to experience the better features, and you want to experience the games at better frames and everything like that. However, the need to upgrade is not really there. And if you have a PC, then the need is even less. All Microsoft wants, and Xbox, all they want is more players. More players. Now, why does this matter to you and me as gamers that the Xbox Series S is outselling the Xbox Series X in a few different markets? I'm going to tell you why, okay? You and me care about games. That's what we care about. If you're on the Microsoft platform, you don't just care about one and done games, about just story driven games. You care about multiplayer games. You care about community building games, okay? Community building games are better, multiplayer games are better the more players that play it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The more players that play a game, the more that publisher, the more that developer, the more that company sees that people are actually playing their game, the more they're entitled to or enticed to making that game better, or to drop even more games that are similar to that game, or to be innovative. Like it's a turning wheel, right? You get our money, you get our attention, we get your creativity, right? The more players that play, the bigger that pot of money becomes. Okay. With that being said, Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5 have showed the power of Game Pass and the power of the ecosystem. It showed it. People that are playing Halo, it's free, right? So access period. If you're part of the ecosystem of Microsoft in the cheapest way possible, meaning just owning a box, right? It's free for you. So go ahead and play Halo Infinite. Forza, you could either buy the game, you could have either bought the game pre-ordered or early access, or you could have waited till it dropped on Game Pass. The game had a lot of players when it was on the what was it, early access. Still had a lot of players, and then once it hit on Game Pass, it just kept going up, kept rising, because gamers like me then got to play it as well, got to try it out. Okay, but here's the thing: those of us that played it on Game Pass, we weren't just playing it on Game Pass on Series X's, Series S's. There's people on Xbox One that played it on Game Pass. There's people on PC that played it on Game Pass, right? So again, regardless of what your console of choices, as long as it was able to run Game Pass, you could go ahead and play this. I don't know how many people subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate and only use xCloud, but if you wanted to use it just via xCloud, you could do that as well, which is ridiculous. Again, another market that's happening into. So again, just more players, more people. Now here's the deal. This is why these sales matter to us as gamers. More gamers playing, the more it is. I know plenty of people that have an Xbox Series S simply because they couldn't get an Xbox Series X. Let me say that again. Plenty of people bought the S because they couldn't get an X. And there's a lot of people in that camp that as soon as the X becomes available are going to upgrade. Let me say that again. There's plenty of people in that camp that have an S right now that as soon as that X becomes available, they're going to go ahead and upgrade. So then the question you and I got to ask ourselves is, what happens to that S afterwards? One or two things are going to happen. Well, a few things can happen, right? First is that S becomes a secondary console for that person's household. They just put it somewhere else and they keep it in a room, and then the X is in the living room or the game room, whatever. Okay, that's option one. Option two is they give that S to a family member, whether it's a spouse, a sibling, a cousin, nephew, whatever, right? They give it to somebody else, which now introduces another player into the Xbox Microsoft ecosystem. Stay with me, okay? Or what the other thing they could do is they could grab that S once they have that X and they could sell it. Now, if they sell the S, they can't sell the S for retail price, obviously, because it's a used console now. So it's even cheaper than what it's going for right now, and even introduces a whole nother group of players that might be able to purchase this and buy it. Now, let's say the person that buys this Xbox Series S is someone that owns an Xbox One, right? That person can now grab their Xbox One. They just bought a used Xbox Series S and they can grab that Xbox One, and now they sell that Xbox One. Now, obviously, that Xbox One is now old, so now they got to sell that for even cheaper price, right? So eventually, if you're staying with me right now, I don't know if I've lost you yet, right? Where Microsoft is creating an abundance of opportunity to get more players into their ecosystem. And once you're into that ecosystem, and once you get used to that ecosystem, you see, that's the key. Once you get used to the ecosystem, boy, it's hard to let go of something that you're used to. So the next natural thing to do is just to simply upgrade machines while you still stay within that ecosystem that you like and that you love. All I'm saying is this: the Xbox Series S outselling the Xbox Series X is going to create a situation where more people are going to join the Xbox ecosystem once the X does become available. That's all it's going to do. And what that's going to do is it's going to generate more subscriptions for Game Pass. It's going to generate more activity in the Microsoft ecosystem, which in turn does help me and you out as gamers, because as long as Microsoft sees Game Pass as very, very sustainable, and it goes from very, very sustainable to very, 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 very sustainable, the better chance we have of Game Pass still being a value as far as what we get for the money that we're paying. And you and I both agree right now. I know we do, that right now we are getting a steal for what we're paying for Game Pass. We are getting a steal. When you think about, this is crazy. Cloud gaming, okay? The biggest competition in cloud gaming right now arguably would be Stadia. And Stadia is free, but you get no games, right? Or there's a few free games that you get. Free if you want to do Stadia, okay? If you go ahead and do Stadia Pro, then that's where you get the 4K and you get some titles that they give you, okay? With Game Pass Ultimate, though, $15 a month, you get xCloud, which on PC runs flawless, okay? On mobile, I still give it to Stadia. I cannot lie. I cannot lie. Stadia to me still runs better, on mobile than xCloud does. But xCloud every single day is getting more playable, more playable. I just uploaded a video of me playing Halo Infinite. It's the video right before this one, and it was running flawless for $15 a month. So again, the value right now, it's not even a question. It's extremely valuable. With these two games, Halo Infinite and Forza, it's just been amazing. Now Halo Infinite is free regardless, so maybe I should take that one out. But when you look at everything that you have on there to play, it's a no-brainer, right? So the more sustainable it becomes with the more subscriptions that they get, the more it's going to make sense for them not to raise the price, or not to raise the price drastically, which the price we all know is going to go up eventually. But as long as the value is still there and it makes sense, it's going to make sense. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see how many more people are going to join the Microsoft ecosystem because of this. Because once that X again becomes available, it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to leave you with this last thing before I head out. I'm already almost 10 minutes in, right? Check this out. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. I believe if I was to bet money, I'd bet money. I bet you there's more people on the Sony side I guarantee you, there's way more Sony-centric players that have played Forza and Halo than there are Xbox players that have played Ratchet and Clank, Miles Morales, Demon's Souls, and Returnal combined. Meaning, the access and the demand for those games are not as high as those Sony fans want you to think it is. It's not as high. The demand and the access to play Halo Infinite and to play Forza, regardless as to what they say about pop-ins and how the game is not polished and fruit physics, they're playing these games. They're playing these games. There's more people that have played Halo and Forza, just 2 games, than have played the freaking 4 exclusives that they have on the other side. I can only name 4. What is it? I said Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal. What was the last one I said? And Demon's Souls. That's the only thing I could think of on the other side. I know they got like 95 exclusives that came out last year, because that's the only reason you buy a PS5 is to buy exclusive games. And they have like 95 exclusive games that came out last year. I just can't name them off the top of my head. Oh, Godfall. There you go. There's another one. Look, man, all I'm saying is there's more people that are okay only gaming on Xbox and not even touching a PS5, not even touching Sony, than there are Sony players. I'm telling you right now, don't let them lie to you. There's more Xbox players that are okay not even touching the PlayStation ecosystem right now than there are Sony players that won't touch the Microsoft ecosystem. They're still in the ecosystem whether they want to admit it or not. They're still holding on to their Xbox One. They're still holding on to their Xbox One X. They're still holding on to, or they might have a Series S. They might have a Series X. And they're just, shh. I bought this just to test out the games and to analyze them. That's what I got it for. That's what I got it for. Don't play freaking 24 hours in a game just trying to analyze it. Yo, it's crazy out here. More gamers, though. We welcome you. We welcome you. More gamers. This is big for Microsoft. I don't know if they planned it out this way, but the Xbox Series S outselling the Xbox Series X is actually a good thing for all of us, because it's just going to bring more gamers into that Microsoft ecosystem. It is what it is. Dog 1985, yo, there's levels to this. We out. Peace.